Weekly forecast June 5th to June 11th, 2023. Amazing predictions. Greetings, I am Asiya Batool, astrologer, presenting you the weekly forecast commencing on Monday, May the 22nd, 2023. This is a relatively pleasurable, light-hearted week, good for socializing, especially as we were entering into the summer months now in the northern latitudes. Venus on Monday, June the 5th is entering into Leo. Venus is very comfortable in the sign of Leo because Leo is playful, it's romantic, it represents sports and playfulness. Those are the key words of Leo. And now pleasure-seeking romantic Venus is going into Leo. Ordinarily Venus hangs out in a sign, giving us good moods wherever it falls in your chart for 3 to 4 weeks. But Venus is going to go retrograde this summer, July the 22nd in the northern latitudes, and it's going to be retrograde. Well, it's going to go retrograde on July the 22nd to September the 3rd, but continue to remain in Leo to October the 8th. So Venus is going to be in the sign of Leo for 4 months, or about 4 times longer, more impactful, so a set of Venus being more of a mood generator, a mood indicator. Venus couldn't be making a real important impact depending on what it's doing in your horoscope. So before I break that down more and what's going on every day for the rest of this week, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. Alright, let's get back to Monday, June the 5th. Not only is Venus moving into sociable, outgoing Leo, but Venus itself will be in opposition to Pluto. Pluto is this compulsive transformational energy. Pluto wants to go deep. This could trigger a strong desire for a more intimate connection in a personal relationship. If you were to meet somebody on Monday, then you would feel a really strong attraction right away. The moon sets the public tone is in Capricorn. Capricorn keeps us more grounded, more practical, more sensible with all this passionate energy that's trying to awaken. On Tuesday, the moon continues in practical Capricorn, mid-morning Pacific time. The moon will be in harmony with progressive, freedom-loving Uranus. That could be a very favorable time to try new things, get out of a rut, shake things up, bring in more interesting energy into your life. Mid-afternoon, then the moon will be in harmony with communication Mercury. That could be good for conversations, for writing, for speaking. And with the moon in practical business Capricorn excellent with Mercury. Mercury also is the salesperson. This could be very favorable for selling yourself in a job, interview, selling your products, or just really communicating your feelings and desires more comfortably to others. On Wednesday, the moon that sets the public tone will be in eclectic, quirky Aquarius. Aquarius seeks a lot of independence, but having the emotional moon in Aquarius, we're going to be more drawn to group activities, friendships. Now mid-morning Pacific time for like an hour or two, that moon will be in tension to expansive Jupiter. Now Jupiter is a magnific energy, but when that emotional moon is more in tension with Jupiter, we may have a tendency to overinflate, overindulge, overspend, but you could be feeling really upbeat and optimistic, which is why you're overdoing it. The moon will be in opposition to impatient Mars. Oppositions interacting with others. You could be attracting some kind of circumstance or interaction with somebody else that could be causing you to be really anxious, irritable. Now this is happening in the early evening Pacific time, but if you are on the east coast of the United States, if you're certainly into Europe, you're going to be, most of you will be sleeping, nor if you're on the east coast of the United States, most of you will be trying to settle down and trying to go to sleep, but that moon Mars, you could have some restlessness going on, your mind could be spinning. Now Thursday, the moon continues in progressive, innovative Aquarius. Aquarius also represents the futures, so you might also be more inclined to be looking at future plans, but around noon 1 p.m. Pacific time, the moon will be in tension with Uranus. Uranus is rebellious, it's unpredictable, it's anxious, and with the moon which sets the public tone, around noon Pacific time, there could be a line of unexpected emotional surprises. But if you direct this energy, you're in control of it instead of being a victim of it. This would also be a very favorable time if you're trying to break a habit, a limiting habit, because the moon can represent our programming on our conscious habits, and when it's with the Uranus, there's more energy to break from this habit. Now Friday, the moon is now in Pisces. When the public moon was in Aquarius, it's more intellectual, more impersonal, more in our heads. When the moon once a month goes into Pisces for 2.5 days, Pisces is in our heart, Pisces is intuitive, it's empathetic, it can be very creative energies. On Friday, Mercury, what is on your mind? What are you thinking about? What are you discussing? Mercury is that planet of information and curiosity. Mercury will be in harmony with Neptune. Mercury-Neptune can be very creative, very inspiring. You might be very interested in music, dance on a completely different level. Neptune has a lot to do with water, and maybe you were really thinking about making plans to go to the beach or go swimming with on a more mundane level. But Mercury is the mind, and when it's favorable with Neptune, you're more inspired, you're more intuitive, you're more creative. On Saturday around noon, the moon will be in a stressful angle to the sun that can trigger a lot of unconscious habits. The good news is that these limiting habits could become more obvious to you. This moon sun is trying to make whatever's unconscious more conscious so you can work with it. You can make the decision to make the changes. Mid-afternoon the Pacific time, now the moon is in harmony with liberating progressive Uranus, so this is a very good cycle actually, because the moon to the sun is bringing our awareness to where there might be some limiting habits, but then couple of hours later, the moon is favorable with liberating Uranus, mentioning that if you put any effort with trying to break a bad habit, you're going to feel very liberated, that you've made a real progress and a real difference. And finally on Sunday, the moon leaves Pisces, that sensitive empathetic Pisces, and enters ambitious, fiery, outgoing, courageous Aries. With moon in Pisces, we may be more reflective, more introspective, but when the moon goes into Aries once a month, we're ready to go on an adventure, play sports, be active, be motivated. And also on Sunday, Mercury that's been in Taurus. Taurus can be very sensible, steady, calming, a bit stubborn but loyal. But on Sunday, Mercury is moving into Gemini for a couple of weeks. Mercury is very strong in the sign of Gemini because Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is associated with Gemini. So, with the Mercury, all our thinking, talking, planning, restlessness, curiosity is going to be a lot much more stimulated. When the Mercury was in Taurus, which it had been for a couple of months because it went retrograde in Taurus, our discussions, our mind may be a little bit too slow or stubborn or resistant to change. Now the Mercury is going into Gemini and we're going to be much more flexible, adaptable, witty, sharp, and so the mind is much more quick and stimulated. Also on Sunday, pleasure-seeking Venus, romantic Venus is going to be in tension with expansive Jupiter. Now these are the two great benefic energies in the horoscope, but when they are at odds with one another, it can bring in too much indulgence, spending too much, eating too much. It's just that Venus is desire and the Jupiter can take it over the top, but nothing to worry about because you're going to be really enjoying the process. Now you could regret it the next day if you have a terrible hangover or you realize you ate an entire cake or drink a whole bottle of wine and you're loving it while it was happening, then you could have regrets the next day. Also, just you could be spending too much money, but if you stay a little bit grounded and sensible, then that Venus-Jupiter can bring a lot of pleasure. I want to thank you for watching. Until next week, be safe and well. It will be an honor if you will subscribe my channel, as it helps me to grow my channel. Thank you.